the thing that we want to discuss today is about insurance savings plans, or they are also known as endowment plan. Now, the good thing about insurance savings plan or endowment plans is the fact that they force you to actually save, commit to a monthly or yearly payment. But besides this forced saving nature, which is good because the concept is if you do not put aside, you do not save first before you spend, now you end up not saving at all. So the concept is good, but I want us to explore how profitable it is really for this savings plan. When we say about how profitable it is really, I just want it to be very conservative and compare this investment return of a savings plan versus, let's say, a fixed deposit rate in Malaysia of 3% per annum. Now let's go straight to what we want to talk about today. Now this is a snapshot of a savings plan policy for one of my customer. Of course, the name has been grayed out. Okay, it is a lady, age 36. Now, this is a savings plan offered by Citibank Singapore. She just came back from Singapore and she bought this savings plan. And when I review all her insurance policy, I need to highlight to her, okay, what are the pros and cons and what are the hidden things inside a savings plan, and to give her a perspective, which I'm going to give it to you today. So this savings plan is by Citibank and is underwritten by Tokio Marine. It's called Tokio Marine Nest Egg, and as you can see here, she's 36. Okay, she started this savings plan just last year, recently. How this savings plan work is that every year she has to pay slightly more than 50,000 Sing dollar. Okay, that's a lot of money. 50,000 Sing dollar, or 50655 Sing dollar. Okay, every year she needs to pay that, and she needs to pay that for 5 years. Okay, so 5 years it will add up to 253,000 of insurance premium paid for this savings plan. So what this savings plan does is that you only pay for the first 5 years, and then for the next 10 years, yeah, after the first 5 years, for the next 10 years, that means for the 6th to 15th years, you don't need to pay any premium anymore. Okay, but assuming that you survive and you do not die, if you do not die by now until the next 15 years, this savings plan will actually mature, and there is a guaranteed surrender value that you can get back, plus some profit as well. So this is how normally saving plan work. So on top of that, this savings plan also has this guarantee. Okay, see this portion, guarantee death benefit of 300,000 of death benefit or TBD benefit. Now, the thing is, for saving plan, this is really not the point for this guaranteed death benefit, because let's say if you're in Malaysia, 300,000 of death or life insurance, yeah, you can get for about 3,000 a year of premium. Yes, you can create 3,000 a year in premium in Malaysian ringgit to get 300,000 of really, a protection, life insurance protection and things like that. So that is really not the point. The point of a saving plan is really a forced saving. So not too much on the death benefit, because for protection part, you can get it at a much lower cost. Therefore, what I want to do here is to remove the cost of insurance for this savings plan for 300,000 Sing dollar of death benefit or life insurance. So I would say that 300,000 of life insurance, you can get this kind of pure protection for about 3,000 of Sing dollar per year premium. So therefore, to get this kind of protection, you do not need to pay that much, 50,000 premium a year. So I just remove the cost of insurance over here to say that remove 3K from 50,000, right? So what you have is still 655, you minus 3,000, okay? You still have something of 47655 remaining balance of balance that you can save. So instead of so you got that protection part covered by just 3,000 per year for protection. So instead of going for paying this kind of amount, 50,000 a year for saving plan, instead you put this 47,000, slightly more than say 47,000 into fixed deposit every year for the next 5 years, and you see how it goes. So what happened is, okay, you put 47K into FD in Malaysia for 3% a year for the next 5 years. So every year this amount gets compounded, right? Gets compounded at 3% per year, and we want to see by the end of year 5 how much amount do we have. So with that, we use online time value of money calculator for simplicity, so I can show you. So you pay for 5 years and you pay around, let's say 47655, and the interest rate is 3% in FD. Present value is 0. So you pay this every year for 5 years, and let's see how much you will have by the end of 5th year. So by the end of 5th year, you would have 261, right? 261. By the end of 5th year, you would have 261,000. This is still in, let's say, Sing dollar, right? So 261,000. Now, after the 5th year, you do not need to pay anymore. So from year 6 to year 15, which is a total of, say, 10 years, yes? 10 years. This 261K will still get compounded at 3% a year for 10 years. Yes? So how do we calculate this? Now this would be 0, this would be 3%, and this would be 10 years, and this I would take as 261,000, and by the end of 15 years you will have something of 350. Yes, 3% a year for the next 10 years, beginning value at 261,000. By the end of 15th year, you had 350,000. So as you can see, you would have total 351K at the 15th year. So this is guaranteed, right? Assuming that the FD rate is fixed throughout these 15 years. So FD is guaranteed. Now, how about if we look back at this savings plan illustration? You can see that for this surrender value, there is this guarantee and non-guarantee portion. So this non-guarantee portion, I don't want to look at it because all these are all just projection, and I could probably get a better return investing the difference into the stock market or in unit trust. So you can see that when I want to compare this portion at the end of 15 years, how much guaranteed money I'm going to get back, you look at this, right? For any insurance policy, if you surrender it within the first 2 years, you get nothing, zero. Now, if you put in FD, anytime you need the money, you need to liquidate it, you still have the flexibility to do so, and you will not lose your capital. But for insurance savings plan, you better not surrender it within the first 2 years because you lose all your capital paid. So, and only by the 3rd year onwards, there is a surrender value. I want you to look at this guarantee, this value, okay, towards this value. So basic premium paid to date and the guaranteed surrender value. So at any point of time when you actually surrender, okay, even after the saving plan has run for 10 years, because your total premium paid would have paid 253,000 by the 5th year, and this will remain constant. But at any point of time, even at the 10th year, you surrender it, you still lose big chunk of money, because you compare this, you have paid this amount, but at the 10th year, if you surrender, you don't even get back 200,000. So you would lose slightly more than 50,000 even if you surrender in the 10th year. Now, how about if you surrender it on the 15th year or when the policy mature? So as you can see, when you surrender it at the 15th year or when the policy mature, you have a guaranteed payout of 300,000. 300,000 from this savings plan. If you just look at this without doing the calculation we have done here, you can see that yes, you do profit, because for the first 5 years you pay this amount, but at the 15 years after they lock you down, lock your premium for so many years, when the policy mature at the 15 year, you get back 300,000. But at what cost? Because I've shown you that even if you put it into fixed deposit and you pay a total of 47k into Malaysian FD for 3% a year, and you don't put in any more money from the 6th year until 15 years, just let it compound for 3% a year, you would actually also get back 351k at 15 years into FD, and that is guaranteed. That is what I want to show you, that you want to compare my calculation here, putting into FD towards putting into this saving plan. You see? So from this illustration, you can see that this plan is not exactly a very profitable savings plan, because first, you get back more money, 50,000 more over the next 15 years if you were to put in FD compared to putting it in the savings plan. So before committing to this kind of saving plan, you must want to compare against your fixed deposit, whether it's profitable to put against saving plan against fixed deposit or not. Obviously, this is not. And the second thing is, this kind of money, it is actually locked and it cannot be used as a collateral for any sorts. Whereas for FD, you have a liquidity and flexibility to liquidate any of the amount to be used in case of any emergency. Now, for this kind of saving plan, it locks you down for the next 15 years, but if you want to liquidate that, to take out the money, you will actually lose your capital. But for a fixed deposit, you do not lose your capital. You just don't earn the interest, that's all. Of course, the other argument is, in fixed deposit, because the flexibility is there for you to liquidate that, therefore, there is no forced savings element into it. And it's likely that because of this, you'll be tempted to use that money for any other purposes, which does not contribute to your long-term savings plan. So, I hope this gives you a good illustration to compare whether savings plans are profitable or even putting in an FD more profitable. In this sense, this savings plan is really a bad savings plan. Of course, there are savings plans that are slightly better, but I'm going to show you in the next month's episode. Now, before we wrap for today, in this very schedule, you can also see this. What is the non-guaranteed return at 3.25% and 4.75%? Of course, when this saving plan is being sold, it can say that by the end of 15 years, you can get about 412,000 back. But bear in mind, that is not a guarantee. And this is only taking into account 4.75% of annual compounded return. Now, 4.75% of annual compounded return actually is very much achievable, right? Very much achievable. And even if you invest in something that is not too risky, even 6-7% a year is very, very much achievable. You don't need to put it in a savings plan. Now, let's just take it as if you put it into FD for the first 5 years. Now, from the 6 years onwards, you invest that into something that generates an average of, say, 6.5% for the next 10 years, for the 6 to 15 years. And what do we have over here? You would have something, okay, sorry, this should be 10, right? It should be, because a period of 6 to 15 years is a period of 10 years. And let's say you don't put it in F2, you put it something like 6.5% a year. And what do we have over here? You will still, okay, very likely, if you put it into instrument that generates 6.5% per annum compounded, regardless of economic situation, average out, which is very much possible, you still get back 489 or 490,000 by the end of 15 years, which is still more profitable than what you have over here, 412,000. And that is why in this savings plan you can see what is the actual amount that has been leaked out or has been charged by the fund manager of this insurance company, because he will employ, you see, he will employ the same strategy to generate a return using your money and then just give you back a portion of the return, whereas he actually pocket the rest of the return. 490,000 versus what? Versus 412,000. So I hope this gives you a perspective of whether you want to use savings plan to fund your long-term financial goal, your like children education or not.